Hari Om, and welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis to today's AVSC Satsang. Let us continue our Manana of Advaita Makaranda, a wonderful poetry by Lakshmidhara Kavi. And based on that, Sri Prabhuji has given several talks. And right now, we are contemplating on the Day-1 talks. And we have framed various questions based on the Day-1 talk. And the focus here is to contemplate on these questions. So far, in our last previous sessions, we have contemplated the first two questions. What is Advaita and how do you connect to it through your day-to-day examples? Then what is Brahmananda or joy of liberation? Today, we will pick up what is the limitation of space, time, and attributes. But prior to that, Padmajaji, is there something that you would like to share or ask?
Maybe if you could just, I don't know, for 5-10 minutes, just talk about the first 2 points and then just move on to the third one. Not long, but at least a short explanation.
Certainly, Ji, certainly.
Thank you.
Let us do like how we generally do a short manana session itself. So generally, what happens is, by now you might have understood the focus of manana is to help each one of us reflect on the truths. And when we say we are reflecting on the truth, the purpose is to deepen the truth as not just a matter of information, but as a matter of how do I relate to it and what is the depth of it, and to realize it so that it becomes a deeply inner feeling, inner experience. At the end of the day, you and I and all of us are here in this satsanga not to simply study the scriptures as a piece of information, but to help you and me transform our day-to-day life. At the end of the day, what is that any one of us wish or want from life and being in life? When you and I ask a simple question like that, the answer is very obvious, which is each one of us here, barring no one, wants to have a happy, healthy, peaceful, energetic, joyful life. So that's what any one of us is looking for. So in the most simplest sense, that is Advaita. So when you look at it, without necessarily explaining or being able to explain, little children seem to be in that way of life. When you notice, little children seem to be joyous, seem to be running around, seem to be happy, seem to be able to do things endlessly, and seem to be able to move on from one situation to another situation without lingering on to any particular situation for a longer time. There seems to be some kind of a spark, spontaneity, energy, enthusiasm. What anybody would call as a childlike, right? There's an expression, childlike. So, in the most simplest sense, that is Advaita. Now, what is that you and I are going to discover through studies of various scriptures is what seems to be very spontaneous, very natural, because any adult also, you or me or any one of us, also has been a child and actually is still a very, in a very deep and true sense, a child only. Meaning what? A very innocent and a divine being. But as you and I go through life, we start gathering various social impressions about what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, who am I, who I am not. Again, not from a truth viewpoint, but from a social viewpoint. We start labeling, isn't it? I am a man, I am a woman, I am this particular religion, I'm that particular religion, I'm this particular caste, that particular caste. I am this educated, I'm that educated. I belong to this community, I don't belong to this community. I am able to do only these, I'm not able to do that. I like these, I don't like this. So like that, you and I, as we start growing up, we start partitioning life into different buckets. We split life into so many different kinds of buckets, but broadly like bucket and don't like bucket. Raga, dvesha. I like it, I don't like it. So what I like it, I want more of it. What I don't like it, I want less of it. And to a certain extent, I may even develop aversion, hatredness towards what I don't like. And towards what I like, if I receive more of it, I seem to feel happy. If I start receiving less of it, or if there's a threat to what I like, I seem to get angry. Why I'm not getting? So this splitting life into these two buckets of raga, dvesha, wants and don't wants, likes and dislikes, seem to create a natural tension as you and I are going through life. What's the tension? Want more of it, whatever I like, want less of it, whatever I don't like. And that causes a deep inner sense of conflict. So I want to be happy, healthy, peaceful. That is a fundamental ask. That is a fundamental seeking. But in life, from where I seem to be getting that, what? Happiness, health, all these feelings that we say, okay, I'm getting it from whatever I am doing. So when I get programmed to think about life in this way, which way? That I get something out of life. And what is that I want to get? Happiness, health, peace. From where? From the relationship, from the money, from the society, from various accomplishments. So I become essentially a conditioned being. I get conditioned. So what is the conditioning logic? If I have to be happy, I have to have, I have to get. So you can fill the sentence now, depending upon various kinds of inputs that you and I may have received. Each one of us complete the sentence in different ways. If I have to be happy, I have to get money. If I have to be happy, I have to get a good position. If I have to be happy, I have to have children. So many kind of statements start filling up. And if you look at the nature of this sentence, there are two conditionalities that have become attached to the happiness. If I have to be happy, I have to. So, first of all, what I have made in this sentence, I have put myself in the condition of if. Happiness is now dependent on the if. If I have to be happy. So, what does that imply? It implies that happiness is not natural. It is something that is already conditioned to having. Having what? Whatever the list I put. So, this is the fundamental source of you and I suffering in life. So, a systematic, a step by step unraveling of is this conditionality really true? Is this really the fact of life? Because the great masters, the realized masters, Sadguru says, your very nature is Sat Chit Ananda, Satchidananda Swarupa Aham. You are of the nature of that divine. And in that divine, Satchidananda. The Satchidananda is a word which refers to you, your true nature. True nature means what? Something that is already there. True means what in the first place? Something that is not changing with time and space and various situations of life. So the great masters are saying your very nature, the very source of joy, the very source of happiness is you. Sat Chit Ananda Aham. Ananda. The very Ananda. Meaning what? Something that is not bounded by any particular conditions. It is inherent. Because inherent, natural means what? It cannot be because of something. I cannot say, oh, sun is light because. No, sun is light. I cannot say fire burns because. No, fire is, the very nature of fire is burning, right? So, like that, very nature of you is Ananda. But now there seems to be a contradiction. Because of my various social conditioning, I've got conditioned into thinking that if I have to be happy, I have to have. So I've gotten into this conditioning, this logical thinking that, okay, to be happy, I have to be. But the great masters are saying, no, 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 your very nature is Satchidananda. So resolving this conflict and getting established in the truth is the process of realizing the self. So, when one realizes, gets established in their very own nature, it doesn't require any degree, doesn't require any additional capabilities. What you already are, recognizing what you already are, is the joy of liberation. So, because I got conditioned into social thinking, I have split a life which actually is one unified life. There are no twos. There is no good and bad. There is no like and dislike. But I have got conditioned into that thinking. So coming out of it, meaning what? I have to examine what is the source of that conditionality, that split, that duality that has emerged in my mind. How did I get into this? What is the source of this? I have to go step by step. Logically, I have to analyze. I have to come to the conclusion. Yeah, actually, there is no duality. And that alone helps me to get established in my very own nature. So, this is the whole idea. This is the very idea, the core of any of the Vedanta. The joy of being you is what it is returning back. The childlike innocence, the most divine being is actually you. To help you recognize that is Vedanta. Does that cover the first two questions, Ji? Are you clear, Ji?
Thank you, Vijayji. Thank you.
So before we go further, anything else that you would like to ask or add?
I think you have explained it very, very clearly. So I think nothing to ask. We can continue the class. Thank you.
Okay, Ji. Does anyone else like to add anything more?
No, sir.
Okay, Ji. All right. So then, Hariam Rajita Ji.
Hari Om Vijayji. Hari Om everyone.
Hariam. So then let us continue from the third question. What is the limitation of space, time, and attributes? And please elaborate that with any of the day-to-day or any other examples that you feel relevant. Yeah. So let's begin with this third question for today. Who would like to begin? Manasaji, would you like to begin?
Let anyone else start this, Vijayji.
Sure, Ji. Anupama Ji, would you like to take up? Are you there, Anupama ji?
I think she left.
Yes, Vijay ji.
She's there?
I
Yeah,
just
she's there.
rejoined. Mm. Uh, uh, how about Vijay ji? You are giving some input initially, and then
Can you please come closer to the mic, Ji? I'm not able to hear you clearly.
can you hear me now, Vijay ji?
Yeah,
It's very low.
yeah, correct. Not very clear, Ji.
I will rejoin once again.
Okay, Ji. Okay, sure.
I think I will just add on to little bit. Maybe you
Sure,
can
Ji.
correct me if I'm wrong, Vijayji.
Please.
So the limitation of space, time, and attributes. I think we can do certain things in certain amount of time. Whenever there is a time limit, we can do. Even in the space, whatever we are doing actions, our actions are limited. Okay. So example, like if I have to, if I have to, I don't know what example I can give it. Uh, go to my work, let's say. So there is a limit over there. Ki I can do this much only work, go there and do the work and then come back. There's a limit. I cannot go beyond a certain limit. So in a space, in a certain time, space and all, we are all limited beings. But I think that is what I can give. We can't do, we can't expand. We all have this 24 hours of time. And within those 24 hours, we can do whatever is possible, we can do. Nothing more than that. So all that is limited.
That is the example, or that is the way you are explaining the space. What do you feel is a time limitation?
Like time also we can consider that only, like the time amount of time that we have is also, I can say that, like you have a class for 1 hour of a class, that is a time limit, right? Can we say that?
That is how you are seeing it.
Yeah.
And how do you relate to the attributes, Ji?
I think attributes, I'm not able to come to the examples of that now.
All right. Okay. Let's listen to a few other viewpoints and then let's continue to reflect on it.
Okay.
Anyone else would like to share your viewpoint?
Sir,
Yes, Ji, please go ahead.
yeah, so what is the limitation of space, time, and attributes? So here I would like to consider first the example and then go on to explain. So if I take a car, for example, so the car has a form, it has a certain size. So with respect to space, it is occupying a certain dimension of that space. It doesn't take up the whole space, but there is a within that infinite space, it takes up a certain place. So that is the limitation of space with respect to that car. And time is, it is within the purview of creation and destruction. So it exists right now, but it is a depreciating instrument or tool, and then after a certain number of years it will cease to exist. That is how I would like to explain the limitation of time with respect to the car. And attributes, again, the car has a certain purpose. So once that is used, that purpose is over, then its usefulness itself ceases. So that is with respect to the attributes. Now we can also connect the same thing to this human body. The human body, or I have taken up a form. I have a space. I utilize this much amount of space wherever, whenever I am. Even if I am going somewhere, I have a certain amount of space that I take up. That is the limitation of space for me, because my body has to fit into certain thing. Time, again, this body is also something which is within the purview of creation and destruction. I was born at such and such time, and eventually this body will, as it loses its utility, or it deteriorates, it is going to one day cease to exist. So that is within the, so I am existing for say 80 years, 90 years, or whatever is the time space, that is the time frame for that body for me. And attribute, again, there are many things as that instrument that I am doing. I play different roles. I have various qualities, but none of these are permanent. Again, it is having its own limitations. If I'm playing a role of a mother, I can't play the role of a scientist. If I'm playing the role of a wife, I can't be playing the role of a man if I'm a wife. So these kind of limitations are what is the limitations of uh, attributes. So this is in relation to who you truly are. So me, I am actually the infinite. So within that infinite, but I have a limitation of space, time, and attribute when I take up a certain form. That's how I understand it.
Wonderful, Ji. So with respect to attributes, can you share a few more examples?
Mm. Mm.
What is the
Okay.
limitation of attributes?
Yeah. Okay. Say, say I am kind person. I may not be kind to everyone. I may be kind to my son. I may be kind within my family, but to somebody else whom I come in contact with, I may not be kind. I may not even acknowledge some because they are strangers. I may not know them. And same thing, even when I choose to help somebody, to help my family might come naturally, but to help, or maybe a friend is also the next after family. I can help a friend or somebody known to me. But if it is somebody's, if it's a stranger going on the street, uh, what he's going through may not concern me. I may not choose to help. I may not, depending upon my conditionings, I may not choose to help. That is one example I can think of right now. Uh, like the example of the car I quoted. So in the car, it can be used only to transport yourself from one place to another, right? There is no other utility for it. You cannot use the car as your home. You cannot sleep in the car for days together. Uh, Similarly, it cannot be used to cook food. So in that sense, the attribute is again limited, is what I feel.
All right. Okay. So let's reflect some more.
Yeah.
And then we'll circle back, Ji.
Yes.
Anupama Ji, would you like to share your view now?
Am I audible, Vijayji, now?
Yes, much better, Ji.
Mm. Okay. As we listened to, I don't know who, but they explained it pretty well. I can add a few more points. That's all. Similar to that. When we take the first, when we take space, uh, uh, we can take some example. Recently, there was Mahakumbh happening, right? So there are people who wanted to go there, but there were people who actually were able to go to that particular spot. So uh, why why that I want to go there? When I go there, one day I get moksha. That those kind of concepts are there. So uh, when I am here, uh, that going to particular spot is regarded as it cannot be said regarded as, it is perceived. by many people as attaining mukti. That is the only way to attain mukti. But is that a reality? No. Um, whether we are here or going to some place, that actually that moksha should come from the clarity of our thoughts. So there is limitation. Not everybody can go to particular place. Like certain people want to go to Kashi, certain people want to go to Vrindavan, like that. But that space where when I am in some space, or right now at my home, that is not affecting the Sachitananda Swarupa of any jiva. When we think physically only, that barrier is there. But when I understand that Sachidananda Swarupa, that the barrier is not there. So the limitation of space is removed. That limitation is removed with the understanding. The same applies for time and attribute. For example, for time, any woman, when we take, they want to always look younger, because they want to maybe lock that particular time of their physical body to appear in such a way, right? uh, but it is not possible. uh, uh, Anything has even a plant undergoes gradual changes. Anything in this cosmos, even it is a small river or a rock, over a period of time the land may become mountain, the mountain may become ocean. Similarly, a human or a plant or animal, anything that a gross body or anything that goes through changes, that is the cycle of birth to death, right? So that time, I cannot lock the time. I cannot be in a look same, or I cannot be attending AVSC 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock all the time. There is a limit for everything. But the the clarity I receive, or the what to say, uh, the inputs I receive can make my every moment to be happy, even the time changes. And according to attributes, um, uh, when I take as a woman, it is again an attribute. A woman, a daughter, a friend, a wife, a mother, all these are all different attributes uh, mm, that is given by the society and others, even myself. That is the way we are, what to say, um, we have an understanding. But those attributes will remain for a certain period of time only. After that, I cannot be only daughter throughout the day. If I take a day as a time span, I cannot be a mother all through the day, as she explained. So the attributes has a limitation. But when I take myself as the jiva, as the Sachitananda Swarupa, I don't have any limitation. So what happens here, when I understand the limitation of this attribute and the time and the space, obviously we will go to the Ananda. Yes, this is for some time only. I am not this alone. I can be here and there. That is only in my mind. When we understand that, we can understand the Sachidananda Swarupa of our own self, which is the truth. Hari Om Ji.
Wonderful, Ji. Wonderful. Who else would like to share your view on this question? What
Sir,
is
I also had a question. Sorry.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, so here I understand attributes as qualities, right?
Correct, Ji.
Yeah. So I was thinking, is it not part of like what Anupamaji also explained from that? Can we not say that even attributes are part of that form and that the form we are talking about?
Yeah. So we need to learn to distinguish between what can be called as sahaja and derived.
Hmm.
See, when you think of any object, let's take a simple example, Ji. When you think of fire, can you tell me what are all the qualities that come to your mind?
Hmm.
It
What are the
is
qualities
heat,
that come to mind? Yeah.
heat and light.
Heat, light, what else?
It can burn.
Burn, excellent. What else comes to your mind?
Hmm. It can also help in cooking.
Cooking.
In
So
yeah,
it's now
various.
we're getting into utility of it.
Yeah, correct. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Huh.
Because when I thought attributes, I was more into the usefulness or the purpose of that
Purpose of it.
object.
That
Yeah,
is
that's why
secondary.
I took the example of the
Correct.
car. Yeah.
Correct. So purpose or usefulness or application is separate.
Mm,
But my question is, what are the qualities of fire? Like how you said, it burns. That's a
mm,
quality. It gives light. It gives heat. What
mm.
else can be called as a quality? Okay, so let me just, these are three excellent qualities. If I may, depending upon where it is burning, you can see that it also displays a quality called, let's say, intensity. But that
Mm.
intensity is
Correct.
is, is something that changes. If it is let's say a small lamp with a small wick, intensity is low. If it is, let's say, a wildfire, the intensity is high. So there also seems to be a quality called intensity in fire.
So
Can you see that?
yeah, so here you are referring to the intensity of the attributes, right? Correct.
Intensity is an attribute in fire. There is a quality called
Correct.
intensity,
Ah.
but that one changes depending upon how much it is burning, right? Where it is burning. Agree?
Mm, mm, mm,
Ah. Now, if you just take these four simple qualities, burning is a quality, light is a quality, heat is a quality, intensity is a quality. Among these four, there is a slight distinction. In these four, three of them are of one kind and one of it is another kind. Can you see that?
yes, yes.
What
The
is that?
intensity is a changing one.
Excellent. So intensity is something that continues to change depending upon where it is burning, how it is burning, right?
Mm.
So that is referred as guna. Whereas, what is the nature of the other three?
That is constant, it is permanent, it's its nature.
Swarupa.
Mm.
So we have to learn to distinguish between Swarupa and Guna. Swarupa means its own very rupa, its own very nature. You cannot separate heat from fire. Though the intensity of heat may vary depending upon what is the material and where it is burning, all that can change. But heat itself is inherent in fire. Light is inherent. Swarupa. Swa means its own. Rupa means form. Its own form. The moment you remove burning from fire, it no more can be called as a fire. That object loses its very essence. The
So,
essence is what you can refer as Swarupa Lakshana.
mm.
And the non-essential, it's gunas. It is there. It is there. Intensity is there. But it is non-essential in the sense that it can change
Mm.
depending upon where it is, right? It is non-essential. It need not have to be used to say it is fire. To say it is
Correct.
fire, you don't necessarily say, oh, only if it is this intensity, I would call it fire. So that is guna. So when we use the word attributes in English, in Vedanta, we have these two dimensions, guna and swarupa.
Correct.
So therefore, when I recognize myself with guna, then I also become a changing aspect. So sattva, raja, rajo, tamo, guna, that's why they're called gunas. They are coming and going attributes. They are modifiable attributes. Somebody need not have to be always tamasic. From a tamasic nature that one displays, one can transform into a very sattvic. So which means it is modifiable. It is changeable. Whereas swarupa is inherent. It is there. But it may get also masked. It may also get masked due to various conditioning.
Correct.
The example you gave, Ji, kindness. Let's take that example. Is kindness a guna or a swarupa?
I think it's guna because the way that Padmaji explained also, it
Hmm.
keeps changing. Like I'm kind to someone and then, or not.
I would say the display of kindness is conditional,
Okay.
right? It is you who is choosing, I want to be kind with this person and I don't want to be kind with this person.
Correct.
But kindness itself is it
Is
guna or
inherent.
swarupa?
Okay, it's inherent within. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nalini, you want to say something, Amma?
Kindness
right.
is natural that is.
It is
It
natural,
is inherent.
right? You know, it is not something that is coming from outside. It may get masked. That is a different thing. It may be hidden. You know, someone's behavior may always be very harsh towards other people. That is separate. That is because of various other factors. But kindness itself is natural, is swarupa.
Understood, sir.
It's swarupa because you have no limitations. You are ananta. Ananta is your very swarupa. Ananta is your very swarupa means what? Ananta means what?
Infinite. Eternal.
Eternal. So which means what? Which means everything that is observable must be part of you. Everything that is ever present must be part of you.
Correct.
There cannot be something that is separate. Then, you cannot say it is ananta, right? Then, there are two distinct things. There is something and something else. So ananta means there is no end, which means everything else is incorporated. So kindness means then what? Because you are truly ananta, there is no separation. Towards your body, you feel that unity, right? You don't feel that, okay, the left hand thumb is separate from me. I like my right hand pinky better than my eyes. We don't use such ways of expressing, right? It's one unit. Though when I pay attention, it may look like different units. Oh, eye is there. Oh, leg is there. Oh, its functions seem to be different. All that is observable. That is okay. But in the feeling way, if you simply feel your body, you don't feel it is any separate from you. And you don't say that, this I like more, this I don't like more, nothing like that. It is one thing. So in a similar way, that's why you love your body. Most people love their body inherently. And of course, due to various, again, social conditioning, they may also start hating the body. I wish my Nose was like whoever, you put whatever word you want to put. Or I wish my kamar was like that Katrina Kaif kamar. Of course, after marriage, after a baby, our kamar also will change, but that's a different issue. Or I wish my abs were, Salman Khan's ab. That fellow cannot turn his neck without turning his whole body, but, abs have to be like that. So like that, we may get into conditioning. That's a separate issue. But when you feel as one. And that is the truth with everything else also. Because the so-called rest, from where the rest, apart from me, from where that notion comes, something is apart from me. Something is outside of me. From where that notion comes?
Because of separation.
Where is the boundary of separation?
It is within me only. I am the one who's saying that these are
Oh.
different from me.
Because first of all, I am putting the boundary as my body, no? My body, your body. So I see myself as this body only. This body has become my boundary. Here, outside of my hand, outside of my eyes, right? So, oh, the dust came from outside and is burning me. We use such expressions, no? So something is outside of me. And what is that boundary of me? Is this visible form? Is the beginning point. Is the beginning point. Now, the moment I put this as my boundary, this is my boundary, everything else seems to be outside of this boundary. Whatever else that is visible, then that is others. Me, others. So, me, others. Now there is a Jatapati. Correct? Huh? Now there is already a conflict that I have created. Because this is me, that is others. This has become my, in a way, space limitation. Now this me, sometimes this me, is this the true me? I have to ask that question. Is this the true me? Is this limitation that I've imposed as this body? Okay, this body. Is this body me?
No, you are not a body.
Correct. And how do you prove that you are not a body?
Because it's ever changing. It's changing all the time.
It's changing all the time. Just take a look at your 5-year-old photo or your 15-year-old photo. That body, and just put your own body of today, take 2 photos, give these 2 photos to a total stranger and ask them, are they same people? Most people may not even be able to recognize that they're same people. That 5-month-old baby photo, for example, and this today's 50-year-old or whatever the age it may be, those 2 bodies look totally different. To a stranger, as much as they may not even be able to recognize that it is the same person. Then something that is so distinct, how can it be you? Because if it was you, as that body decomposed, because that has decomposed, no, that 5-year-old body is no more there. It has gone somewhere. Where it has gone, that's another mystery. But that body is gone, no? Where is that 5-year-old body? The 5-month-old body? It is no more there. It has gone. Poof. But this 50-year-old, whoever it is you now, you still are saying, I am that same person. If I give the same 2 photos to you, you will say, oh, it is me. I went to this carnival and my father took this photo. Everybody says I was so cute, so chubby. So like that, you'll explain something about you, right? And you'll say, oh, it's so lovely. I wish I could go back to this. So nice it was. All that feelings and expressions come. We get lost in enjoying that form. But the fundamental question escapes us, which is, hey, if I am the body, then this body is gone, then I must also have been gone. But I don't feel that. You never have felt that, I have gone, that I have poof. You have never become poof. So, body, can it be you then?
No.
Body cannot be you. Okay. Now, this body, this is one of my space limitation. This physical body is one of my space limitation. But now with the simple examples, we are able to see that this physical body cannot be me. I can say that I'm functioning in the world through this body. I'm able to experience the so-called world through this body. That expression is okay. In other words, I can always say, like how you say, I have a Hyundai car, I have a Maruti car. I have a car is okay. But am I the car? Are you the car? No. So that distinction is the first distinction. The physical limitation I've imposed upon me. That is causing a space limitation. Now, what is the space limitation? Oh, this, I cannot be in Mysore when I'm in Bangalore. I cannot be in bathroom when I'm in kitchen. I cannot be with my son in the playground when I need to be with my husband in, let's say, some other function. So like that, I get into various kinds of space limitations. All that emerges naturally. Why? Because I'm associating myself with this body. Yeah. Body can exist only in certain space. So this is the space limitation. Is this the only space limitation I've imposed on myself? There is another space limitation that you have imposed on yourself. Can you recognize that?
Mind.
In the mind, as for example,
As
the moment you
as
say,
different roles. Hmm.
the moment you say, for example, let's take a simple example. I am a Kannadiga. Let's say you say like that. Oh, who are you? Oh, I'm a very proud Kannadiga. Okay, where is this Kannadiga? Where is this Kannadiga?
It's in our mind.
As what? As what? See, body is very easy. Are you a male or a female body? Look at it, these body parts. I'm a male body, I'm a female body. What is Kannadiga body?
It is some conditioning that has come to you from outside, from
What is the
society.
boundary of Kannadiga? What is boundary of Kannadiga? There has to be a deha, no? Even Kannadiga has a deha, no? What is the limitation of a Kannadiga?
You're speaking Kannada, so you are Kannadiga.
True, correct, Amma. But what is the limitation of a Kannadiga? What is the boundary of a Kannadiga? What is the deha of a Kannadiga? The physical body, you saw, this is the boundary of this physical body. This is where physical body ends. And anything outside of this is others. That's how, this deha imposes a limitation. Similarly, Kannadiga as a deha. Kannadiga
It
as
is
a
all
body.
it is all in the mind that okay, fine. I'm talking about the language. So the language that they speak, it is not the physical aspect of the body, but it is the mind aspect that I say, so, okay, I speak this language, so I am bound by this kind of. So that is a limitation over there.
So the moment I am a Kannadiga, okay, and especially a proud Kannadiga, or I am a proud Tamilian, I am not something else. So the moment I become a very proud Kannadiga, very proud Tamilian, very proud, whatever you put, whatever, then I cannot accept. For example, today you all see the language related conflict that is happening, right? Oh, they're imposing Sanskrit. Oh, they're imposing Hindi. Oh, they're imposing that language, this language. From where that resistance is coming? Because I have become one of that body. As a Kannadiga, it is very difficult, especially as a very proud Kannadiga, it is very difficult for me to accept maybe say Tamil, maybe say Telugu, maybe say French. Because now I have a boundary of a Kannadiga. I have created a boundary. This boundary is a little more subtle, like you all said. It's in the mind. But it is also a boundary. Kannadiga is a boundary. Now, similarly, who is an Indian? Who is an Indian?
That is also a boundary.
Boundary. Someone who recognizes himself or herself with a particular piece of land called India, or
Little
either
bigger
the
boundary than Kannadiga.
Kannadiga, right? A slightly larger boundary. This physical body seems like a smaller boundary, but the mental boundaries also, they also vary in size. As a particular, let's say, I belong to this community only. Okay, we have various sects and subsects and so on and so forth, right? And that too, they can become so many branches. So the moment I get identified, it's a slightly smaller boundary. To that, I can become a slightly bigger boundary. So when you notice this, the boundary in the mind also keeps shrinking or keeps becoming bigger. Sometimes I may recognize myself as only South Indian, or especially if you're outside of India, you may recognize yourself as oh, I'm an Asian, right? So, like that, the boundaries keep changing depending upon circumstances and context. But it is still a limitation because you are imposing that limitation. How can you prove that you're imposing that as a limitation, that you are actually not that boundary, which is nothing but we just now saw through the example, I am not the body, I'm not this physical body. Likewise, how can you prove I am not that mind, I'm not these thoughts? How can you prove? How would you prove that I am not Kannadiga, or I'm not Tamilian, or I'm not Indian, or I'm not the thoughts?
Because that is also changing.
That is also
It
changing.
is not, it is temporary.
It is temporary. Excellent. As a 5-year-old baby, were you Kannadiga or a Tamilian or Indian or a French or a German or which language, which religion, which
I didn't have all
nationality?
those conditionings. I didn't have anything.
None of it was there, which means it is something that I've gathered. It's okay to function in life. Oh, you know how beautiful Kannada is? Oh, let's enjoy this poetry of Kannada. Oh, but do you see this value of Tamil? Wonderful. Let's enjoy Tirukural. Oh, can you see this Sanskrit? My God, it's called Deva Bhasha. Why it is called Deva Bhasha? Oh, let's enjoy. So the moment I become free from self-imposed body in the mind, I can then be free. So that is my, again, another kind of a space limitation. So this physical space to this mental space. This is the space limitation because the moment I am something, I am limited in space. I can only be that. I cannot be something else. This is the first limitation that through my various social conditioning or through my ignorance of the truth, I have created within me. Space limitation. Now, what is time limitation? Similarly, what is time fundamentally? What is time? What is really time?
The number of hours we are calculating in a day,
That
24
is one
hours.
way we look at it, right? What is that? Where are you calculating? What are you calculating when you say number of hours?
It's again in the mind only. Time is a function of a mind where, like you earlier said, the 5-year-old is not there anymore. It's dead. It's gone. Poof. Now, so
Yeah, let's
we
take that example. Let's go a little deeper into that example, Padmaji. That's an excellent example.
uh,
So, how are you saying I'm 50 years old?
yeah, with respect to the past, there is a past,
Past.
present.
What is past?
It's a memory. It's a memory.
It's a thought in the mind. And
Yeah.
and that you're comparing to what?
To
To the
the
current.
current.
To another thought, to today,
Correct. Yeah.
now. Okay, if somebody comes and asks, oh, how old are you today? Oh, today is your birthday. How old are you? So today and that day. What is that day? Again, a thought. Where? In your mind. What is today? Again, a thought. Where? In your mind. So what is time then?
It's a
I
gap
can,
between the two.
there is a gap that you're seeing.
Uh,
There's a distance you're seeing between two thoughts. If the distance seems to be sometimes, we are in something that we really like or love, time flies like that. So,
Correct.
right. So, which means what? It feels as if like sometimes we say, no, my God, how these children have grown up just like yesterday. I held him or her in my hand like a small baby. With respect to your own children, you may all feel like that, no?
Correct.
Time and again, the memory goes back. Oh yeah, you just yesterday he came out of my stomach and I held him. इतना छोटा था, अब देखो इतना बड़ा हो गया. तो ऐसा like that we speak. So where is that? इतना छोटा था, इतना बड़ा हो गया. Again thoughts.
Yeah.
So these two thoughts sometimes when when they're pleasant, I didn't even notice the time. When they're not pleasant, Ayo, Rama, so many years I suffered. So many years. Every moment of that physics lecture was, Ayo, don't ask me. I would look at it, only 2 minutes have passed. And I again look at it, only 2.5 minutes have passed. And again I look at it, only 3 minutes have passed. How much more time? Another 40 minutes is there. Ayo. So you see, time is a concept born because of the distance of two thoughts. If the thoughts are pleasant, nice, not pleasant, ayyo. So again, is it the reality? Is
No.
time there for you? That's a
No.
fundamental question, right?
Hmm.
The state of our mind.
It's a state of your mind. How do you prove that time is not there for you? Like how you proved body and mind are not your reality. How time is not your reality?
Time will also fleet, no?
True, but how do you prove? How do you prove that you are not really limited by time?
Soul was always there.
Simple, because the time keeps changing.
Deepaji gave one viewpoint. Can you, sorry Padmajaji, let's listen to Deepaji's viewpoint and then, yeah. Deepaji, can you explain that? What did you say?
Yes, sir. The soul was there all the time.
Soul was there all the time. Okay.
Yeah,
Who is
if
that?
it is there, it would be there.
Who is that? Who, when you say soul is always there, now with respect to how do you prove to yourself, Ji? Make the question very simple. How do you prove to yourself that time is a limitation?
Time is not a limitation to the soul, sir. But
I'm asking about you. How do you prove to yourself time is not a limitation? I don't know about soul. Therefore, I'm asking about you. How do you prove to yourself that time is not a limitation?
when it comes to the body, uh, like you gave the example of the baby.
Hmm.
And the body, I mean, of a 40-year-old body that has grown. So this is a gap of about 40 years. When I was born, I was little. Now the body has grown.
Okay. In that particular sentence, when I was born, I was little.
Hmm.
How did you come to that conclusion that I was born and I was little?
Just because of the photos.
Just because of the photos. So again, see, if you introspect and when you ask the most fundamental question, okay, so if I'm not the body, okay, if I'm not the body,
Yeah,
whatever that is physically visible,
yeah.
also if I'm not the body that is mentally visible,
Hmm.
what am I? What am I? What are you truly? What kind of a shape should I associate with myself? What will be your answer, Ji, if I ask that such a question?
There's
What
no
kind of
shape.
shape will you associate to yourself?
There's no shapes.
There is no shape, right?
Yeah.
You cannot define yourself by, okay, look, this circle is me, this rectangle is me, or whatever that shape is me. So you are beyond the shape, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the same way, Ji, question is, how do you prove to yourself that you are beyond the time?
Hari Om Vijayji.
Hari Om Satya Ji.
So time is a limitation in the mind. Time is as long as short as we think. As you said, when we are happy, we the time is very less, and when we are sad, it may look like more. So time is a limitation that is there only in the mind, and as long as we are associated with the mind, we keep thinking that time is limited or the space is limited. So all these are notions of the mind, and the distance that we can create with the mind as looking at it as an object and not the subject will remove such limitation.
Excellent. So again, time, from what is the origin of the concept of time? Distance between two thoughts. So the fundamental question is, there must be someone noticing the distance between two thoughts, no? If someone is noticing, someone must be in the so-called first thought and someone must be there in the so-called second thought, no? Then how can that someone who is already in the first thought and the second thought be limited by the same thing that is being measured?
There is an unchanging in the changing.
There is something called a changing, which is the thought. There must be something that is you, the real you, who must be noticing these two thoughts. Otherwise, how could you even report that?
Hari Om Vijayji. Maybe
Yeah,
it
my
is
friend.
the pure awareness. I mean, it's the only awareness, and it's not the time actually, because time, like whatever we say, past, future, since that is only in the mind, in the way we think, there is nothing such thing we call it as past or future. But whatever we experience in the present, now, only that is the reality, and that is also coming through our awareness only.
Absolutely. Right? So without you, who? The awareness. So now we will come to the attributes part. That is where we can understand the awareness better. But for the time being, it is very easier to see that time is distance between two thoughts, and you are the one who is noticing the two thoughts. So therefore, you cannot be time, because time itself is measured by distance between two thoughts. Is that an agreeable way? Is that a way to prove to yourself that you are not the time, you're beyond the time?
Yes.
So Vijayji, you're saying like I have seen myself as a child. I've seen in my thought, I've seen like a 5-year child going to a carnival with my parents. I've seen that. Now I see at this moment sitting in front of this class and this. These are two different thoughts, but I am definitely not that one and not this one. I am beyond this. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So I must
Right.
be beyond this, because time itself is measured. What is 40 years now? Is nothing but distance between these two thoughts. But you have been there in that, during that thought, during this thought also. So you cannot be then that thought itself, because the distance between the two thoughts is the time. Is that
Correct.
agreeable?
Yes.
Excellent. So now that we have proven to ourselves, or each one of us, each one of you have proven to yourself that you are not limited by space, because you're not this body or the mental body. You're not neither the physical nor the mental body. And also you are something that is not the time also. You're not bound by time. So these two are limitations, space and time. Now let us focus on attributes. We already discussed attributes to a certain extent. There are two kinds of attributes: derived attributes and inherent attributes, guna and swarupa. So guna is something that comes and goes. Derived attributes come and go. But inherent attributes, swarupa, that's why it is, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am that Shiva Swarupi. Shiva Swarupi. Satchidananda Swarupi. Swarupi. My very nature, my very inherent nature. The attribute Satchitananda is not because of something. It is inherent. It is my very nature. That we have to recognize. Then I become free from derived attributes. The problem of life is I got identified myself because I got identified as a particular shape and form and got identified myself as existing in a particular time or during a duration of time. I also get identified with particular set of derived attributes. Yes, Padmaji.
Sir, but am I not truly attributeless?
I'm guna atita. I'm guna. So we have to be very clear. When we use the word attribute, like I said, there are two notions that we use it with: guna and swarupa. You are guna atita. You are above the guna. But the swarupa is your very lakshana.
Okay.
So you cannot, as a simple example, now let us take the example of awareness, consciousness. Okay, these are the two words that we use. When you think about life, okay, so you can only think about life or any situation or any particular event only if there is consciousness, isn't it? If there is no consciousness, there is no understanding, there is no knowledge. Without knowledge, there is no whatever that, there is no awareness of it, right? So for example, how do you say that your sun is there? Because you have felt, you have touched, you have smelled, you've seen. All that, just because the eye is there, you're not seeing, right?
Correct.
Eye is not the one who's seeing. What is really seeing? Through the eyes, the light goes to the brain, it goes. But there is something else magical, mystical that nobody can truly explain. And it gets transported into a place called mind because nobody has seen the mind. No way to physically think about mind. It goes into that mystical place called mind. There also someone is seeing. Only that seeing gives the existence to something called as sun. Correct. My child, right? If in front of a dead body, let's say there is a dead dog, in front of the dead dog, the puppy of the dog goes, there is no recognition. So something must be there which is beyond these body mechanisms to bring that sense of consciousness, that sense of awareness. And from where that is coming, who is giving that sense of consciousness, from where the consciousness is coming into every thought into which it is getting infused. Because a thought is there only because there is consciousness. Otherwise, who is there to recognize that thought? What is the source of that consciousness? In the way we looked at it, the only one from where it can be coming is you.
Hmm.
Because the thought, see, the I itself cannot be aware of itself.
Hmm.
The brain itself cannot be aware of itself. And how do you prove it? Very simple. In front of a dead body, eye is there, brain is there, but no recognition is happening. No movement is happening. So mere presence of the physical organs is not consciousness. Therefore, we already have proven that I am not these physical parts. I'm not these mental parts. So then I must be the very source of consciousness. Because without you, there is no recognition. There is no recognition. There is no cognition. There is no knowledge. So that recognition, that ability to recognize, to be conscious, is not something that is coming because of something. Oh, because I have eyes, I am conscious. Oh, because I have thoughts, I am conscious. No, no, no. Right? You won't say like that. I am conscious, therefore I'm able to see. I'm conscious, therefore I'm able to think. Some philosopher wrongly said, I think, therefore I am. So that fellow made his very existence dependent upon his thinking. No, if that was the case, then who is there during deep sleep? So that
Yeah.
fellow failed to recognize that. Because in deep sleep, there is no thinking happening, but still you are there. How do you know you are there? Because in the morning when you wake up, you don't say, oh my God, where did I come from? You don't say something like that.
No, Vijay, I exist.
You exist. That is very evident. Even after deep sleep, you come and say, I was there. That's why you are able to say, I went to bed. I wake up now. And I have to do these things. So something that must be there, which is unbroken even during your deep sleep.
Hmm.
During your deep sleep, there are no thoughts. So you cannot then say that I think, therefore I am. So that thinking must be wrong then. Therefore, you must be, therefore you are able to think. You must be, therefore thinking can happen. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So this is what we need to recognize. My very nature is, therefore, Sat Chit Ananda. Or in other words, see, there are many such Swarupa Lakshanas. There's also Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. You are the very truth. Satya. Satya means what? That which does not change from place to place, time to time, is Satya. Because if it is changing from time to time, space to space, person to person, it cannot be Satya. You are not changing. That 5-year-old body also you are there, 50-year-old body is also you are there. So Satya, Satyam, Jnanam. You are the very source of the Jnana. Consciousness is your very inherent nature. That is how Jnana is occurring. That is how recognition, cognition, knowledge, these are different words to refer to that. Because of you, all this is possible. Jnanam, Satyam Jnanam, Anantam. We already have come to that clarity. No body, no mind limitation, no time limitation. So when you have no limitation, the only way to say it is Ananta. Ananta means no limitations. Ananta. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That's who you are. Brahma. Brahma means infinite. Someone who is not limited. Because there is no way to say, when I ask the question, what is your shape? I don't know. I cannot define my shape. In which time I am. all the time or beyond time? Am I only a man or a woman? Those are attributes, derived based on the body. So like that, when you learn to distinguish between guna and swarupa, gunas, oh, I am very angry person. No, that is a derived attribute based on which you are imposing the limitation. You are not angry person. First of all, you are not a person. Person means what? There is some boundary. You are not a person. Oh, you are not angry. Anger is a because of various conditioning in the mind. You are not angry person. You are the one who is noticing a thought which is being labeled as anger. You getting associated yourself as that thought is making you feel I am an angry person. Oh, I am a very beautiful person. Of course, in the most truest sense, you are the most beautiful, but not in the sense of a body, because we generally tend to attribute that to body. Oh, look at her. Oh, look at him. Oh, smart looking. Oh, handsome looking. That is a derived attribute based way of functioning in the world. So what I am not, I take it upon myself and I become that. That's how I get a limitation of the attributes. Angry person, silly person, intelligent person, very noble, greedy, irritable. Look at all these qualities. So you and I need to distinguish between guna and swarupa. Gunas are the function of mind. What I've gathered, what kind of thoughts I've gathered, based on that, my guna changes. We all know the story. The twin birds born to the same mother. One bird went to a butcher's place, one bird went to a pandita's place. The bird that went to butcher's place started speaking after some time. I'll kill you, I'll murder you, I'll drink your blood. The one that went to Pandita's place, please come, please sit. Shall I give you some water? So gunas are modifiable. Depending upon your environment, you soak in the guna. But you are not the guna. You are guna atita. So learning to distinguish between the swarupa and guna helps you become free from restricting myself with attributes. So I am guna atita. Does that bring clarity, Padmaji, to the question that you raised?
Yes, sir.
So this is how the limitless, the ananta, the most divine, by taking in the limitations depending upon the space and time and the culture that one is operating in, becomes and starts feeling a limited being. When I take on the limitations which are truly not there, I become a jivi. Because now I can only exist in a space and time and with some attributes. I can be a mother only when I'm with my children. I can be a husband only when I'm with my wife. So I've taken those limitations. It's okay, perfectly okay to operate in the stadium called life, to play the game of life. Why? Simply for the fun of it. Because you don't need any of this game. The true you. But game of life helps you to bring out one another intrinsic quality of you. Your very intrinsic quality is creativity. Creativity is not when we use the word creativity, we tend to think of it in terms of, oh, she or he is so creative. Look at the way she paints. Oh, look at the way he sings. Something like that we say. That is one definition of creativity. Creativity means what? Creation. Creation is the very inherent nature of nature. Please see. Please see in and around you. Please see your own self in terms of the body and the mind. No two moments are ever alike. No two bodies are ever alike, even though they may be twins. Why go so far? Look at your own very fingers. No two fingers are ever alike. No two fingerprints are ever alike. No two strands of hair are ever alike. Billions of cells, no two cells in terms of their shape and size and form are not ever alike. Nothing is ever alike in terms of how it expresses, how the divine expresses in life. No two things are ever alike. What a wonderful source of creativity. And that is why you also want to express in different ways, in the way that your mind allows you, your body allows you. One of you may be wonderful with singing, one may be with dancing, one may be with art, one may be with talking, one may be with writing, one may be with simply telling stories. Millions and millions and millions and different ways through which the divine expresses its creativity through each body and mind. And that creativity is an inherent swarupa of the divine.
Vijayji?
Yes, Ji.
Having said that, can we ask the question like, if we ask the question, is there an answer? Like, why so much, like whatever you said, the creativity, right? Like in a tree, if we take two leaves are similar. So much of, like it is beyond our imagination or perception. Like so much of what you said, the not creativity, like the creation has happened. Can there be a question like why, how, and is it possible?
See, again, one of the beautiful inherent capacity of you is the ability to ask questions. You have an inherent capacity to ask questions. Right from childhood, a child is inherently very curious, asking questions. Why? What? How? When? So, nothing wrong, but one needs to see who is asking the question, and what does that one who is asking the question want out of that questioning. Very important. Who is asking the question? Otherwise, it becomes a mere intellectual exercise. A mere intellectual exercise of asking question for the sake of question is not transformative. So to transform, I need to ask honestly the most fundamental question: who is asking the question? And why is this question coming? So, why is this creation? It's like, for example, let's say I have no ganda or gali of painting. Okay. I have no color sense, let's say. And let's say I totally don't understand at all, the joy of painting. And I see somebody standing there, spending endless time in creating some picture on some canvas. They spend hours and hours together. it is natural for me to have the question, what is this? Why are they simply wasting time? What is this? Nothing but some white canvas and some colors here and there. What is there? Silly. So it's very natural for me to have such an expression. Why? Because I am not experiencing the joy that the person who is painting experiencing. Because in that painting, that painter is no more a painter and painting. In that painting, there is only that painting that is happening. There is no more that why painting question. A child, why are you playing child? There is no answer to that question. The joy of playing is in playing, in being, in that very creation. Creation is creator. And there is no separation between the creator and the creation. Creation is a fleeting change appearing in a never changing creator. In a way, it's just a way of expressing. Because the moment we use creator, our physical limitations come into mind. Oh, creator means there's a hand, there's a leg, and there's a somebody is sitting there and writing this canvas called life. That's one of the concepts. The mind goes into all these kinds of conceptions, right? So the question appears only for a questioner who has yet to disappear. So therefore, in looking at the source of this questioner lies the very freedom from this question.
I can say that still if that question is coming, then it is all just because of the avidya or the ajnana. But in a way to tell,
put it like this, like that's why the example, the when I do not know the painting, then as a, let's say, the only thing that I know is for example dancing, then I will probably not really know the value of painting. So for me, the painting as a creation, why? So when I become the painter, then I also I got it, right?
okay. But sometimes Vijayji, like if I say that it's because of like what I said is ajnana, but to our true nature, we say that we are complete and we are that. So does it not contradict like
Then where is
having
the incompleteness in the creation? The incompleteness in the creation is imposed by my own thinking, where I see part of the creation and I impose limitation. Creation is as complete as that, whatever you can call as nirguna, or the one who is beyond the shape and form. So the nirguna and the saguna, both are complete. Saguna means what? All the gunas. Only when you and I bucket them into this and that, then it becomes a limitation. But when you include all the gunas, then it is as complete as nirguna. A simple example, Ji. In a way, you can say that in the 26 characters or alphabets of English lies all the novels, all the English novels that have ever been created, and all the English novels that will ever be created. Does that sentence make sense, Ji, to you? In the 26 alphabets, All the novels are already there, and all the novels that are ever going to come are there.
Yes. Yes, Ji.
So now you see, in the Nirguna, the Saguna is already there. Because Nirguna means what? I'm not limiting myself by any one particular attribute. What is Saguna? All attributes of the divine are already inherent. But it expresses in different times and spaces in different ways. Just because all the alphabets already contain the potential for all the different novels doesn't mean that a novel already has occurred. It occurs in a particular time and space through various circumstances. That's a different thing. But the potential for it to express in infinite ways is already there. Do you see now?
Yeah, potential is there, but it expresses like
Its particular
mean-
expression is a time and space. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, fine.
So
Yeah, yeah, Vijay.
as Asha, never ever in the history, there is no other Asha like you. There will never ever be another Asha like you in the any future.
Yes.
In terms of your expression. That's your immensity. In a way, you can identify yourself with these attributes and, oh yeah, I'm this limited, as well as see your own limitlessness.
Yeah, maybe our beliefs are so limiting that even to believe, maybe it's little.
It is not.
What to say?
There is a sentence change I would like you to consider. To believe. To believe means it's a mental phenomena.
Mental phenomena. Yeah.
To see that I am believing immediately frees you from that mental phenomena. I am believing
Right.
means someone must be seeing the belief, no?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the one who's seeing the belief, so-called thought called belief?
Again, I'm not established in that. I mean,
Again, I'm
when
not
I
established is a thought that is occurring, and the one who's seeing, I'm not established, is also there. In that very
Okay.
sentence, in any statements you make, Ji, you cannot remove your true self. You just have to
Yes.
start seeing the true self in every sentence.
Because the moment I frame a sentence, it becomes like,
You're powering the thoughts in the mind.
Yeah, right.
Right? But who is powering the thoughts? Who is that?
Yeah.
In whose presence the thoughts are coming and getting expressed? What is a thought? Is unknown. What is a sound? Is something that comes out of the mouth. So between the thought and the sound, there is a movement happening. In whose presence all this movement happening, Ji?
Yeah, to describe myself or put it in a sentence, I think it is not possible to explain while we speak or while we frame a sentence.
Correct. Because any sentence is a limitation imposed on that unlimited self.
Yes.
Because the very word Brahma also, depending upon one's own conception, can become a limited sentence, limited word. Therefore, words are not the reality. Words are simply pointers to reality. If you hang on to Brahma, you're lost. But if you look at what it is pointing to, then the freedom comes.
Hariom.
Does anyone else have any other expression on the question number 3?
I think Vijay, I just wanted the last sentence, what you said. If you hang on to Brahma, you are lost. That's what you said, right?
If you hang on to any words, see, words have a tendency to create a sense of thought patterns, no?
Okay.
See, the moment you think, for example, the moment you think, my mother, your mother, what immediately comes to your mind? Somebody called your mother and her face, her body language, whatever, right? So any word causes this phenomena in the mind of bringing certain images, certain forms. So
Got it.
words, therefore, if you simply focus on word, oh Brahman, I have to realize Brahman. Oh, I have to become Brahman. So Brahman then becomes another object in the mind.
Correct. So then again it becomes a mind limitation kind of.
So once again it becomes a seeking. Oh, when will I become Brahman? When will I become infinite? When will I become infinite? One day I will become infinite. Look at the absurdity of that sentence. One day I will become infinite, which means the day you become infinite, what were you? Unlimited. What is infinite? Sorry, limited. So what is infinite? Something which has no limitations. So if you become infinite, then how can it be truly infinite? Impossible. How can a finite ever become infinite?
So basically you're saying that we shouldn't get stuck to those words as such in the mind and all. Again, the moment we do this, we are limited. We become ourselves. So we are not realizing our true nature, as simple as that.
As simple as that. So what is the word Brahman pointing to? The word Brahman is pointing to you, the awareness in whose presence all this so-called miracle of life is happening.
Correct.
Vijayji,
Yes, Ji.
now Brahma means infinite, okay?
Yeah.
That is nature, Brahma. So, we can't become Brahma or what? We are always infinite only,
You
no?
cannot become, correct. You cannot become.
We are infinite.
You are that.
Huh.
And the one who is saying, I want to become,
Mm.
that one has to fade away.
Yeah. We are infinite only.
I am infinite,
Okay.
not we are.
Always, I used to talk like that, we. Naturally, it comes we only.
Where are the we's? We are nothing but different thoughts. Okay, I is one thought. Okay, who is I? Some kind of a form. And in relation to that form, there are other forms. So because I look at the world in terms of me and the others, we happen.
Yeah.
In reality, there's a beautiful picture. I don't know whether I can show that picture. Just a moment. It was there as part of our. I'll bring it up. You see here?
Yeah.
So you are the one who's giving consciousness to different thoughts. And each thought you're recognizing as that, this, that. So only you are there. So world is not separate from you. World is not something that is different from you.
It is all a reflection of me. That's all it
All
is.
reflection of you.
Guruji has other day told the word is a word.
Word is a world. A word causes concepts in the mind. What is world? So, for example, Mount Everest is a concept in the mind. Oh, it's tallest mountain. The moment I uttered that word, Mount Everest, that concept comes into mind.
Mm.
And what is world? World is nothing but, different concepts emerging in your mind. If a concept is not there, it is not in your world.
Yeah, correct.
So therefore, words have become your world.
So word itself manifests like that.
What is the question, Amma? I didn't understand the question.
Word.
Huh.
Whatever we are uttering, word, no?
Yeah.
Word becomes word.
Yeah. So your word is becoming your world. For example, if you keep saying, that fellow is a rowdy fellow. That fellow, he terrifies me. So your world now has fear and somebody who is a rowdy fellow. So your world is now essentially that. So when you venture outside, somebody looking like that fellow will now terrify you. So you created a world because of the way in which you are looking at different thoughts and the way you are giving the energy to those thoughts. So you are creating your own world. Oh, these people are like that only. So all that is created by you and me, by the way you and me think about the world, are nothing but the way we infuse energy to these thoughts.
Thank you.
SG. Anybody else wants to express?
Vijayji, I have just one last question. Just
Yes, Ji.
every week the class would be there for 2 hours, is it? Is it what is the plan?
Usually it is 6 to 7:30 G, but again, depending upon, like today, depending upon questions and expressions, it is usually about 2 hours. That's generally what we have seen, G.
Okay.
Any other questions, thoughts? Okay. If there are no further questions, let's end our today's contemplation here. Hari Om. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.